All right, let's see here. Is this mic on? Happy Friday, everybody. Let's turn this down. How y'all doing? Happy Feedback Friday to you. Hope you have all enjoyed a nice week, encountered a lot of inspiration along the way, made some awesome things to listen to. Hey, Liv just got here. We can start. How you doing, Livia? Hope you're doing well over there. Let's see who's here. Choosing Sleep, you were first. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Ricky Akimbo. Welcome in, brother. Saying, ooh, this is spooky. Eddie Cop 5. Welcome in. Happy Friday. Thank you for the nice words. I'm glad you're enjoying the cool ambient sounds. Nobody useful. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you as well. Ricky, you working on anything good over there this week? Ooh, Choosing Sleep went and got a tattoo this week. Ayo. Jordan told you about the stream. Ah, excellent. Well, welcome in. Always good to have another new addition to the mix. Chrome, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're doing well out there as well. I've got coffee. We've got chat. I've just posted a new sound pack to the subscriber rewards channel in the Discord, so go grab those. This month you guys get Sacred. It's a pretty cool little collection. Various recordings and slight mutations of various mallets, singing bowls, synth pads, little vocal shots. It's pretty tasty stuff. You can grab it free right now over in the subscriber rewards channel on the Discord. Let's see here. Do I have anything else for you guys? Excuse me. I don't think so. There is a few new releases over on the Ghost Hack site. You can grab the latest, the Sub Rumbles, for free. Why don't we just go ahead and pull up a link for that really quick? Let's just do that, shall we? This guy right here, it's free right now. Just go grab it. Might as well. It's a whole bunch of Sub Rumbles that I just made. Go do that. There are also, I think there's a new tutorial up on the Ghost Hack YouTube channel as well. For you, it's about adding cinematic quality to your sounds. What else do we have announcement-wise? I think that might be it. Oh, there is a new YouTube channel. It's not completely new. It has been around for a couple of months now, but we are no longer able to hold our Twitch archives on Twitch. There's a limit to how much and what you can hold there now. So that's how that goes. But you can find all of the live stream archives going back several years, just thousands of hours of watch time. You can find them here. And you can watch those for free. That is a shame, but Uncle Jeff Bezos didn't want to pay for everybody's video hosting forever, so he kicked the kids out of the basement, so to speak. But to get your little piece of revenge, you can have him pay for your Twitch subscription here every single month, because if you are currently subscribed to Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription every month, and then you can use that here. And then you can get free sounds from your Uncle Jeff Bezos. How about that? Yes. WNB, how you doing, homie? Merry August. Yeah, it's like that's happening right now in real time, right? It's the first. How about that? Time to do a marathon. I don't think we're going to do a marathon stream today. I think we're going to do just a standard today. Yeah, Prime Sub is awesome. That is nice. It's got to be the best perk of Prime, I think. Yeah, Ricky is right. Twitch has got to work on that profitability thing. They're leaning really hard into ads and nothing else. They're like slowly disassembling their business model and just putting more ads in front of people. Eventually, they're going to realize, they're going to wake up and think, oh, wait, we just literally told people to go to our biggest competition and host all of their video content that they've made here over there. Great. Yeah, I don't know who's steering the ship. All right. Shall we listen to some music? Oh, wait, I don't know if I even pasted that in there. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay, great. Now, let's check out public feedback, shall we? Ninja Star posting in here saying, hey, can we still put stuff when you're not streaming in this channel? Yeah. Yeah, you can. And then you can be first because you're already there in line. Just like that. Bam. Ninja Star, I don't know if you're awake right now and tuning in with us, but I do see you in the queue this week, so it's going to be good to hear you. All right, let's turn off this background noise because we don't need this. We're going to listen to you guys. Let's go do that. If you want to hear more of that space music, it's on the YouTube as well. It's the Cosmic Clouds? No. Which one is it? Cosmic Fields. There we go. There's a few of them out there. There's like an hour's worth or something you can zone out to. Okay. I'm just going to grab my notepad really quick. We do not need that. Looks good. So nobody rolling in first here on a Friday. Kick things off with a little dark ambient. You guys ready? I think I'm ready. Crunch, crunch, crunch. All right, let's roll. This one is called Hopeless. It's from nobody. If you're wanting feedback as well, just hit the Discord. There's a link in the chat. Drop it in the public feedback queue here and wait your turn. Let's go. Okay, dude, I like this one. It's really, really minimal, which makes it tense because we're having to lean in so much, and there's these kind of incidental sounds and whatnot. There are a couple of moments where I felt like I could hear a loop, or there was a cut that wasn't faded or something. So make sure that you've got crossfades set up on your loops, and that you've got everything um, running with fades throughout your timeline, just so there aren't any pops and clicks that you aren't in full on control of, especially when there's so much reverb floating through the thing. Also, make sure you're taking out the highs and lows of your reverb so the original signals aren't competing against themselves, and there isn't that weird kind of phasey slap back that you get sometimes with those low end kind of knocky elements. Just in general, I would set the low end cutoff to 40 hertz, 12 dB per octave curve. I'd bring up the foley, not an unnatural or wild amount in any way, but I would make these things a bit more overt and consider the fact that the bass is the mood, right? The environment, the atmosphere, and the all of these smaller Foley sounds and whatnot, all of this is the environment, right? So if the bass is the mood, I would bring that down just a little bit and put it in more of like a bed position, and then make the Foley your surrounding environment, and then put an atmosphere. Make it really thin and transparent, but don't rely so heavily upon those lower frequencies being reverberated. And what that will do for you is it will open up that whole low end area for you to swell and do things really neat in regards to like movement and emotional impact and stuff, because you can make that low end presence kind of wax and wane over time. But the Foley elements, right? You can imagine the environment a little bit more when the bass moves into that kind of mood supportive position, because now you can think about like, is there water on the walls of this place? Like, what's the humidity level in this place, right? Like, what else might be in here? Is there like a tiny little, like, sifting debris falling down, maybe because you're in some sort of like earthen cave environment or something? You start to ask yourself deeper questions because you can focus a bit more on these actual sounds. So that's what I would say on this one. Don't add too much more, but just but just configure your environment inside of an atmosphere as well. Make sure that you're not skipping, looping, and that's about it. That's about it. I like this one. Hmm. Yeah, WB saying fully up. I love that. All mixing guides be like quiet risers, quiet effects. That's BS. Well, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish, right? And like exactly how you're trying to impact the listener. You can also consider movement in general, like through the environment in some way. If you're listening to a soundscape that doesn't have much in the way of progress being made in any one direction, it's more of just an experience. You're just kind of soaking it up. Um, you can really kind of upset the situation and add like a little unexpected conflict by putting just a few footsteps in at some point, right? Like, wait, was there a person here this whole time? Like, is this a first person experience? What's going on here? It doesn't have to be footsteps, but something like that, just to kind of bring some sort of specific context to this specific moment and situation. I can put it in the thread, you bet. Glad it vibes with you, homie. All right, Ninja. All right, we got a whip. This one's from Ninja Star. All right, Ninja, I think this is pretty good. And I think that you are probably like, I don't know, 6 to 10 elements away from being complete in regards to the palette of sounds that you're working with. I think that you can start to bring in a fair number of sound design elements like transition sound effects would actually work really well in this track. Not at the point of transition every time, but just having like a whoosh in here every once in a while, just to kind of have this forward momentum, this sense of progress and movement, I think, is really what's missing. The other thing is I do think there's just a lot of little secondary and tertiary, like supportive synths that you can use, do little synth runs and ARPs, quickly chasing after your main elements that you already have here. And I think that too would bring this kind of surging, kind of emotional energy to the whole thing. Now, I think there's also this element of depth that's kind of missing. This feels just a little bit kind of flat. So I think there's not flat in tone. I think that everything you have here is pretty good. You've sculpted it pretty well, but I think that you do need some stuff to fill up the sides just a little bit more. And then tonally, some stuff to bring more contrast between the highs and mids and lows, right? So in these moments where you have a fair bit of mid-range energy, especially with those super saws kind of driving things, you just want to make sure that you've got something that does a little sprightly something up high or a little swelly gnarly thing down low every once in a while or something like that, just to remind us what the full spectrum is in your track. Okay, at 30 seconds, just wanting that depth to kind of develop during that rise, I think. So whatever it is that you're adding, I think, starts to come in during that rise. And that kind of takes us from this almost... Yo, Visor! We got to stop and respect the gazelle. What's up, Visor? How you doing, homie? Long time. Hope you've been well. Where was I? I'm sorry. Just for the overall kind of appeal to have that kind of moving from 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional, right? So if it's going to be something melodic or like these little chasers or fills or something like that, incorporate some of that halfway through this build, and it's really going to bloom this thing. The other thing I would say is if you put in like a sub drop here or something like that, like or something like that, right? You could also put in some sort of a gated or stuttered suck back or reversal as a finishing layer in that transition. And that too would also give you this sense of depth and interest that I think is just lacking just a little bit. And then on that transition element that you layer in there, if you have just a little bit of delay and reverb, then that's going to carry over at that point of change, and that's going to feel really nice. That's going to add to that kind of forward momentum we're talking about. Okay, feel like that's just about it here. Talked melodically, sound design elements, surging energy, momentum. Yep, that's it. I'm going to put this one in the in a thread just because I doubt you're awake right now. Good to hear you, dude. Chrome. It is you. Hey, Exophonic is here. How you doing, homie? Visor, it's good to see you, dude. Wasn't expecting you to walk in the door today. It's great. 2B Deet, welcome in. There's space in there for some mad technical Foley, sound design skills, ill glitches. This is feedback coming from Choose and Sleep in the chat. I need some hats, some faster rhythmic elements. It's a fantastic start. I also agree on this like feeling of double time being introduced at some point. That's going to like create this really nice push and drag effect. Yeah, I think you've entered kind of the play zone on this one, Ninja. I think that's where you are in this. Hmm. All right, I'm just about caught up on this chat here. You guys are great. All right, Crumb is saying, I would want to know how to clear up the low end in the drops. I'm just new to really understand what I got to do. Yeah, okay, so this is Cyberpsychosis, and it's from Chrome. Let's go. Wow, this autocorrect, this constant autocorrecting from Siri is like completely frustrating. That was a fantastic track. There's like a ton of energy and a ton of just juggling happening. There is a lot of low end presence too, and I think that we need to carve away at that as much as we possibly can, honestly, and maintain one real low end hero in the low lows. And then everything else is just kind of shaved up just a bit, right? So, and we're talking using some pretty gentle EQ curves. I'll show you here in just a sec. Let's run through these words really quick. Okay, so that big pitch bend, not patch bend, that big pitch bend in the intro, I think it could be more prominent, just like really, really lean into it, make it the most prominent thing. Maybe even it's actually going up in volume too as it's going down. Or maybe you're just swelling some saturation on it while it's going down and everything else is kind of coming down as that's happening or something like that. But really, I think that's one of those elements that you could make this thing feel very different than it does right now, just by affecting the entirety of the mix or almost the entirety of the mix with a little element like that. Also, at 33 seconds, you can do a similar thing. You've got this little noise sweep, and if you just make that like a big filter sweep in that same exact shape with that noise being kind of a highlight of that whole modulation, that too would bring the whole mix into play. And I think that that would just kind of be a good starting point for you to go through this track with almost like a DJ mindset, right? And think of like, how can I affect the entirety of the mix, or what could the majority of the mix do right now that it isn't doing? Because we haven't felt like a significant change for a certain period of time or whatever. Now, that doesn't happen very often in this track because there's a lot going on, but there are a few moments, I think, in this where you could grab a hold and just make us go, whoa, right? Think about the impact of just stopping everything with like a half beat strip of silence, right? That type of thing, or maybe back to back, just a quick little stutter at some point when nobody is expecting it. If you have something like that after a couple of maneuvers like this early on in the track, people are just going to be like riveted, right? Because you've already upset their expectations multiple times. So really great transition at 58. I would choose a couple of elements and move them down instead of up. They don't have to go down in pitch. It could just be volume. It could be a filter sweep with some resonance or something to bring a little bit of funk to it. It could be an internally embedded downward element, right? So it could be like a phaser or something like that that could just make us think of something going down, right? Anyway, that contrast should open up a little bit more tension and then release when it goes away at the point of transition. 133, definitely feeling all the constant low end by this point. It's been a minute and a half. I think we just need to wrangle stuff, and I just want to show you really quickly. I'll just put it on here. This is just a really gentle, like 12 dB per octave curve. Your main element can have a really low cut, right? But everything else needs to have something taken out of it at that point, right? So all of your mid-range elements, you can keep that same kind of 12 dB per octave curve, so you're keeping that phase impact down, but you want to bring that up, right, as much as you possibly can. You don't want to take the guts out of something, and you don't want to chop the legs out from underneath it, right? But what you do want is for the bass of those lowest elements to fire out of the speakers like a cannon. And I think that's kind of what's lacking right now, because we do have multiple different elements that are really popping off in this range. Here, let me just turn off this. There's a lot of elements that have a fair bit of presence in this 100 to 40, 100 to 30 range. Now, as much as you can tap down on a bunch of those individual elements in that range, the beefier this track gets. And the more articulate you'll be able to be in the track as well, with all of the different changes happening over time. Those are the big things in this one, I think. I'm just reading through the chat comments here. Yeah. It is very dark, isn't it? Exophonic. I like it. Yeah, it's cool. Choosing Sleep saying, need more transitions. Love how awesome, love how unapologetic everything is, including the saws. Yeah. Yeah, W&B, just with a few comments here saying, I'm thinking just sidechain and multiband compress with 1 to 3 properly set up bands in the 20 to 500 range, saturation 2. Yeah, and the single low end hero, even 2 is very difficult to mix with, I've discovered. Yeah. As soon as there's any kind of competition, it's harder for us to focus. It's really just like if you've ever been in a room and you're having a conversation and a kid comes up and starts saying something right next to you. I use a kid as an example because the timbre of their voice is a little more attention grabby, like it needs to be. I think nature's just made it that way, right? But then just imagine now there's a conversation that starts up on the other side of you, right? And now you're having a really hard time concentrating on what you're actually trying to say in this one moment to this person in front of you, with this kid chattering and these people talking right over your shoulder. That's what's happening. That's the competition. It's just chatter. Sometimes all the elements are great on their own, and you're pulling up a sound and you're like, this is fantastic. But it's got to be considerate now, right? Like if it's something that you're adding to the greater mix, then it's got to be something that is considered an embellishment, right? Not the main element, not the main focal point. So just a consideration. every time you bring something in, put an EQ on it and ask yourself, how much can I take away? Like right away, just how much of this can I take away? All right. Yeah, so yeah, Chrome, I think you've got it. I'm just going to read this out loud. Chrome saying, I'll try to fix this as much as I can, make sense of it, but thank you really much. This mixing is the thing I really don't understand yet. I already cut the lows and many elements. Actually, there's just a Reese, but I will definitely do a filter sweep downwards in the first fake drop. Oh, and the one thing that wasn't mentioned is the mono compatibility of the low end. Yeah, that is one thing that, like every single project, while you're listening to it, you're probably listening to it in stereo the entire time. Just be aware that there's a lot of playback situations where things are actually put out in mono. Big, club systems, stadiums, radio. There's a lot of stuff that goes into mono. So just make sure that you can actually hear all of the parts of your sound and your music that you want to be able to hear. And if you can't, then some of that is going to be stuff that you can quickly calibrate, right, in your DAW. And some things are going to be instrument choice and prioritization of sounds in a project, which might even mean the elimination of some sounds sometimes, because too many elements in one frequency range at the same time in the same space can become problematic pretty quickly. So, all right, moving on. Chrome saying there are like 7 elements with kind of important low mids. Yeah, so that's where you have to be kind of strategic, right? Not each one is going to be in the same stereo position in the mix, and that's one thing in your favor. Another thing is volume. Another thing is saturation. Just because they all have similar kind of fundamental or root points doesn't mean that they all are being felt at the same point, right? And once you start to bloom the harmonics in a sound with some saturation, that moves the focal point up in the sound. Or more accurately, it helps to kind of call attention to those sweet spots in the sound that are above that fundamental area, which makes it easier to hear the sound in the mix, but it also makes it easier for you to kind of part ways with a few more of the lower frequencies in that sound, because what's actually being heard are these higher harmonics. So for what it's worth, it's kind of nuanced, and you kind of go back and forth and do a lot of A-B comparison when you're making these adjustments. Got to feel it out. Liv says, a well-set compressor plus saturation can also help move harmonic information towards the frequency range. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Allowing you to cut or scoop more of the bottom end without losing the vibe. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. That's exactly it. Choose and Sleep saying, honestly, the detail you put in your feedback is so awesome. A credit to your knowledge and willingness to engage with the community. A lot of streamers either don't give depth or don't listen to the whole track. It's massively appreciated. Hey, that's what we do every Friday. Yeah, that's true, Olivia. A lot of streamers pretend to be experts. Yeah, that's true. I don't know what an expert really is. Just done this a lot, and I'm here to share. So, choosing sleep, it is you. Here's saying an oldie would love to know how to improve on the techniques I used. This one is opaque with a Newman. Yo, Chasing Sleep, this is great. I think this also has a great deal of licensing value in it for a few different reasons. And I also think that I hear an alternate mix in this for like broadcast usage. I could imagine a bunch of different television programs um, that would want to use music like this, especially if you had a kind of understated version that had uh, a little more intention on just being like super, super like in the pocket, super supportive. Okay, dialogue sample up there in the intro. I think it feels good. This whole thing is a real vibe. Seriously, the Foley bits should come up a bit. The sustained stab or the sustained pad, um, the stabs and the larger ambience that's emanating from it, I think can be brought down a good bit. Probably 8 dB or so to start. Um, might even want it lower once it's in more of a supportive position. This one element is, I think, just kind of unnecessarily loud. And once you bring it down, we'll be able to focus a bit more on all the handy drum work and the Foley stuff. I think those are like the real interest things, right? It's the stuff that sets it apart from a lot of other music in a similar space. Also, um, I would say think of atmosphere as something that is different than ambience because it is, right? Think of ambience as like the general clamor in a space, right? Think of it as like if you go to the cafe down the street and it's busy, all of the dishes rattling and all the talking and all of the like kitchen noise and all of that stuff, that's the ambience, right? If you take all of that stuff away and you go in there when no one's there, you hear the atmosphere, right? It's just like room tone. And there's like this slight amount of air move. There's not much to it, right? The ambience is all of the other kind of stuff, all the concoctions kind of working together. And once you start to realize that and you try to emulate that in your mix, something kind of happens. You arrive at a different kind of ceiling or upper echelon, if you will, of your mix. And then you'll consider that like at all times because there's this other element that you've intentionally put there that is there for the space, that's there for the air, and it's not necessarily the same as the ambience. And then those things kind of orient them or kind of right themselves. So there's better alignment in a mix. It's amazing what happens when you start to think about those things. It's a subtle difference, but it's also a profound difference at the same time. Consider being more bold with your EQing of reverb channels. Just less reverberated signals in a larger mix equals less competition and obfuscation. It's less things for something trying to fly through space to run into. At 305, this rapid ARP element, it can come up and be moved just a little bit more, I think. It'd be actually pretty cool to have like a little tremolo causing a little auto pan, right, to get these things kind of going like this. Be nice. It does have a nice little intertwining feeling here. I think that's really the thing that gives it the most kind of sync potential or licensing potential for sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, chat is active. This is good. Eddie Cop. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, my ears are. Yeah, I realize that they're a bit gifted. Like they don't. Other ears don't hear all the same things as readily, and that's why we do Feedback Fridays. Like it's not like something you get in a plugin, you know. So hey. Mm. Yeah, so Chrome's saying I'm kind of new to all this, been doing it for like 5, 6 months, and the processing stuff is still an unsolved puzzle. Yeah, you know what? It should be kind of right because it's all so subjective, and like there's so many different things that could be your ideal. It's the thing that's inside of your head that you're actually aiming for Um, yeah, so everything should be different from one project to another, from one to the next. I mean, in regards to processing, for sure. Choosing sleep, you're welcome. I hope it all vibes with you. Oh, you don't have the project file. Yeah. Yeah, there is nuance, right, Liv? Yeah. Yeah, right. Visor asking, "Hey, OMLab feedback plugin when?" Right. Uh, yeah, no, that's the best part about it. Seriously, like Liv is saying, it's not really solved even when you're an expert. Infinite puzzles, as I like to call them. Yeah, seriously, if it wasn't, there would be very little point in doing this for me. I would find myself unchallenged and would lose interest pretty quickly. It'd be like one of those really awesome video games that like looks neat and has great sound and doesn't do it for you. And every time you look at it, you're like, oh, I wish that was better. Embrace the complexity. Yeah, yeah. Put it on master mode. All right, Ricky Akimbo. It is you. This one is called Up Chuck. What up, Chuck? Sorry, I just saw this. I want to read this. WB says, train an AI on OMLab and it will suggest cutting hats at 50 hertz. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Room 2.
Yeah.
This song right here. Just a little bit of. Just a little bit of. Yo. I used to skip school just to watch so random. Now I'm in my room making anthems. Hip-hop madness, rock and roll sadness. Anytime my hands on the mic, it's a banger. Hottest in my city, they should put me on a banner. But what if I outshine the tanners? What if I show you could make more than the blenders on the radio? What if I told you could get hands in the air? People in stands ready to dance. Get them in a chance. This chill shit, we past that. Get the mic back, attack the track. And we might just relapse the rap. We might get the people on the floor. Show the kids how to kick it motherfucking hardcore. But that's just how I feel. And you know what to do if you know the deal. Come on. This song right here is a little bit of upchuck. I'm trying to get unstuck, can't relax when I got a lot of cash to crop. I'm trying to stack it till my casket drop. Yeah, this song right here, use it as a break. For those who can't relate to the grind, trying to find your way to shine. Like, are you dim or are they just blind? I'm transforming, still getting better than ever. Got the spaghetti off my sweater, time for the cheddar. Genie, I was never scheming, but I've been dreaming of the days I put my mom in the guinea. The days I make getting studio time easy. The days I see youngins getting their rhymes off. The days a young producer could come from school and pay 100 to sit on a stool, make a check and make it back cause others want to rhyme to it. The older generation tells you put your mind to it. Man, how the fuck? We barely got a label in the city. Nobody showing love, nobody showing pity. The most famous people in the city ain't from the city. And the famous people from the city ain't in the city. And the barely famous niggas getting pissy. If I blow, should I let you niggas reach me? Should I pull a John Cena, can't see me? Cause if I don't, then the city's still sleeping. This song right here is a little bit of upchuck. I'm trying to get unstuck, can't relax when I got a lot of cash to crop. I'm trying to stack it till my casket drop. Yeah, this song right here, use it as a break. For those who can't relate to the grind, trying to find your way to shine. Like, are you dim or are they just blind? This song right here is a little bit of upchuck. I'm trying to get unstuck, can't relax when I got a lot of cash to crop. I'm trying to stack it till my casket drop. Yeah, this song right here, use it as a break. For those who can't relate to the grind, trying to find your way to shine. Like, are you dim or are they just blind? This song right here is a little bit of upchuck. I'm trying to get unstuck, can't relax when I got a lot of cash to crop. I'm trying to stack it till my casket drop. Yeah, this song right here, use it as a break. For those who can't relate to the grind, trying to find your way to shine. Like, are you dim or are they just blind? This song Right here is a little bit of upchuck. I'm trying to get unstuck, can't relax when I got a lot of cash to crop. I'm trying to stack it till my casket drop. Yeah, this song right here.
Ricky, this is so good. This is so good. There's so many different things that are good about this. It'd be great to hear just like a little bit more swing on that snare, and for there to be like maybe just this manual hesitation, like just scooting that snare hit over. It's like, I don't know if it's every third, but you'll feel it. Really, really fantastic at 110. Just love the way the whole vocal ensemble hits. I think the whole ensemble should come up, and I don't think it's just a volume move. I think just some saturation on the whole channel would be good. There's a little bit of kind of cotton in the main vocal, like it's somewhere between 2 and 300 hertz. There could be like this ever so gentle little scoop made, or you could just hit it with a little bit of saturation and the whole thing just kind of blooms. So I would do that. I would hit it with just a little bit of overdrive. I would target around 7 to 8K and hit it somewhere between 1 and 3 dB drive. So this is not going to add any kind of grit or anything. It's just going to make this thing kind of shine. I think your flow is super sick. I think it's great. You might also want to consider a little side quest. Pass this whole track through your favorite saturation plugin. Just pass it right through. Don't even add anything. Don't turn any of the knobs up or anything. So you're not actually driving it in any way. You're just going to pass it through the circuitry of this thing and hear what it sounds like on the other side. There's going to be an audible difference. If it isn't that apparent to you with just doing it that way, put another one on and see what it does. And then quickly turn them both off at the same time and listen back and see what you think. There's a level of kind of harmonic bloom that's left in this track that you can kind of cash in on. How you go about doing it is up to you, but some sort of finishing saturation on this whole thing would feel really, really good. There's a certain level of surface texture, I think, that would feel great. Hey, cotton is such a great way to put it, right? Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't need to be any more technical than that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, actually, VWMB brings up a great point. Fun fact, the Dilla snare is often early, not late. It's true. It is true. But there is this stopping point in the snare here, and it would be great just to land it right on that spot, which is just like a little hesitation every once in a while. It's so good. All right, Eddie Cop. Am I anywhere near right in the pronunciation of your name? This one's reversed, featuring Zara. You're scared. Nah, don't be scared. This is great. I love this art. I like all the little threads, the little noise imperfections in here. Makes it feel printed. All right, here we go.
I've got some time, but I don't have so much power. I try to find a brighter room. No need to hide, I will show my true desire. But all I do is reverse. All the choirs I seem to be higher. I know then if I won't be heard. I'm still lower, my heart on the fire. I see how the waves very clear. Oh no, I'm trapped in small hurricane. There is no way to run. Maybe I should have known better that this is the place where all I do is to reverse. got no place to reconsider who I am. I see my face or reversed. All the choirs I seem to be higher. And often if I won't be heard, I'm still lower, my heart on the fire. I see how it waits very clear. Oh no, I'm trapped in small hurricane. There is no way to run. Maybe I should have known better that this is Oh no, I'm trapped in small hurricane. There is no way to run. Maybe I should have known better that this is the place where all I do is to reverse.
Yo, I really like this. I really like this, Eddie Cop. I hope you bring more of this kind of stuff by. I want the vocal up on top just a tiny bit more, and to hear just a touch more mouth texture in there. So this could be easily accomplished with just a little bit more attention to detail in the saturation. You might want to turn up your target frequency from where it is right now. It feels like maybe it's around 5. You could get it up maybe 7 or 8K, something like that, and get a little bit more of that sound out of the mouth. It's just going to make it feel like it's just a little bit more intimate, especially in that opening section there. 43 seconds, great drum fill. Hit the toms with a little bit of overdrive so they ring just a little bit more than they do right now, and then adjust the volume down to taste. 111. I think volume balance is needed in this section. I'd be more bold in your changes and let the perks lead a bit. Right now, to me, it felt like either you were unsure of what was really leading in that moment or what you wanted us to really focus on in that moment. Either way, I do think that a couple of elements can be brought down a good like 6 dB or something like that and see how that feels. I do think that the perks are worthy of leading the moment. 135, bass down in general, probably 4 to 6 dB to start. You might want to make it just a little bit more than that. Or alternatively, you can filter down just a bit on that bass outside of the chorus. Give it more of a supportive profile in general in those quieter moments. There's this kind of leap that happens each time the chorus comes around, and some of that is kind of this artificial inflation of loudness, and I get why it's there, but it doesn't necessarily need to be done across the board the way that it is. I would make that more organic and just really pick a couple of things that you're going to do. If you're going to call attention to one element in particular, consider hitting it with a little bit more saturation instead of volume, because now we're going to hear more of the actual sound that is being performed versus we're just going to hear what's being done a little bit more loudly, right? And each time you make the decision of hearing more of the sound versus hearing it more loudly, the more the sounds will start to cooperate together as well in those kind of peak volume moments. Lastly, I think the limiting is making the dynamics just a bit wonky on this. I think that part of it has to do with how compression is being used in your sound design versus the mix, and I think that you can have a little bit more success with downward compression in sound design. It feels like you have a really good handle on what you want right now. When it comes to the mix compression, though, it felt like maybe a little less downward compression, a little more upward compression, a little more reliance on saturation instead of limiting or affecting the peaks of sounds. And that subtle difference in like the contouring and shaping of things can have a pretty profound effect overall at the end of the day. So this is super close, and I think that the changes here are pretty nuanced, but totally worth chasing. I like the sound. I like the sound you've got going on. Hey, DJ Empirical's here. How you doing, homie? How you doing? Yeah, Visor's liking this. Liv is liking this. Oh, a friend recorded it for you. Hey, well, it's a good match for the music style. So you guys should collab more. Yeah. Yeah, Visor's down. Loves this. You're cutting mouth texture like crazy. Yeah. WB says Connor Dalton said it well. Mix vocals to taste and then add 2 dB. Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb as long as the signal will allow for it. Kind of dig quiet vocals myself though. Makes the instrumental bigger. Shoegazer for life. Collab together all the time. You write the lyrics. It's great. I think it's a good match. I think it's really great. Yeah, so if you're cutting away some of or a fair bit of that, you can leave all of that work in place and then use, I know we keep going back to the same exact tool again and again and again, but it's very versatile. You go with some overdrive and hit that same area that you were doing some reductions in. But I'm sure that all your work was probably pretty specific. It was probably doing very specific things every single pass that you made. So now what you can do is hit it with this kind of finishing touch. It's akin to using compression to gluing things, but this is really just kind of like pulling just a little bit, just like pulling on all the harmonics just up just a little bit. They're going to keep the same kind of in context relationship of the individual work that you did. Will still be respected. And see how you feel about that. This is just a subtle little lift of those textures. All right, here we go. Next, Rabagast. It is you. This one is called Cafe. I like this this cozy little picture here. Although it looks very perfect. Is this AI? Rabagast, let's go. Ooh. All right. I love this, Rabagast. I love this. I think the loudness is a little bit inflated. It feels like a little bit driven for what it is. I'd love to have there be a little less force involved because I would love to turn it up to this point myself because there's a lot of little details and I don't really want to miss out on them. I don't think pushing them forward into this kind of more unnatural state is the right answer, though. I think it really is using saturation, like I've been saying in the last couple tracks. You guys have been doing really great, by the way, on your mixes that have been coming through today. I'm just now realizing I've been talking about saturation a lot and not so much about EQ. Your mixes are really clean this week, you guys. It's really good. Okay, really opens up nicely with the filter opening there. Make sure to EQ the reverb channels. If you are already, just wrangle the lows a bit more when things get busy. Like when there's 1, 2, 3 elements, totally fine to leave the large majority of the frequencies in play. As long as there isn't too much kind of plosive energy in those lower frequencies, that works pretty well. Because those get kind of blown out of proportion a bit in a lot of sound systems. But just wrangle out what you can. Once things start to get busy, once there's like 3, 5, 6 things in there, you want to bring that down. 124, I just find this to be really simple and pure. It's so good. I kept thinking of a couple of different groups that are just so like consistently satisfying. It's good to be in good ranks with these guys. So that Door Creek, that was great. Happens a couple of times. Are you allowed to submit more than one? You are if we have time for it. Space them out though. Don't put them in the chat right next to each other, or in the queue. Respect your fellow producer. A little less loudness through limiting, more through saturation, but watch the high-end excitement. Don't let the airiness or the high-end in general get fatiguing with anything. Let those drink rattles and the ice in the glasses be a good focal point when trying to find your kind of ideal saturation levels. 306, these reverse bells are really nice. Might want to keep soothe or some sort of responsive multiband or responsive EQ on there for when it swells, because it gets a little edgy at one spot. That's it. That's it on this one. This one's great. Visor saying, cool outro. Mortal Beats, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're doing well out there. W&B. What'd you make? W&B saying, I had a cool collab song to share today, but turns out the collaborator is a domestic abuser. Oh no. But here's something else. It's out to be, it's out, but the feedback won't be wasted. First time synthesizing techno rumble. Ooh. Ooh. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, I see. This one's just the instrumental and this one's the full mix. Got it. Got it. Sorry to hear that the collab went belly up because someone is a jerk. Man. Good job not sticking by him through that, though. You know, make him change.
To see me under these lights, on my tears turn to ice. That's the sweetest escape. Every time the feeling kicks in, I might stay through the night. Bet you get it now, rock that dinner now. 착각하지만 누가 누군지 와. Think Think you're running out? Guess we gonna be. You know I walk it out, talk it. 눈 감고 하나, 둘, 셋. I'm with all of my sisters, got him going insane, yeah. You know we on a mission, all gas, no brakes, yeah. Breaking out of this system, breaking out of this cage, yeah. Bet you're getting that, ain't that 찔러. 순간 있지만 누가 누군지 Think you're running out, guess we gonna man up, walk it, talk it. 눈 감고 하나, 둘, 셋. Black pink in your area.
Okay, W&B, I like this. At 57, the ARP is disappearing a little bit. So a couple things. I would shave off some of the lows, hit it with a little bit of saturation to help it keep its foothold in the mix. And also then I think I'd also consider just layering an octave up, or maybe even just moving it an octave up, maybe for the chorus. Maybe it's both. I'm not sure. Play around with that though, because there is a sweet spot where it's going to start cutting through a little bit more. 126, the lead is bumping up against the vocals here, I think. Just an awkward rhythm contrast in how they're delivered more than anything. If they were more aligned rhythmically, then I think that it feels like the lead is really like a collaborator or at least a co-conspirator in what the vocalist is doing. But as it stands right now, it kind of feels like they're both trying to do their own thing and still be heard at the same time. And that almost feels like they're at odds or just not aligned. So TBD says, it's hard to tell maybe the stream, but the music is too centered in my opinion. I was kind of thinking that it had kind of a lack of dimension at a couple of points, but I felt like part of it was EQ work, like mix work, and how the sides could be a bit more different than the middle of the mix. Part of it felt like everything was being compressed because of the low end elements in the mix, and that if you removed that from that processing chain, the whole thing would feel more dynamic. So I would play around with that personally. just because I would love to hear more of the actual peaks, and I think that we're attenuating those kind of all over the place. 126, the lead is bumping against the vocals here. I think it's, oh yeah, I already said that. Just the awkward thing. Less sub-boom in the kick. I think the big thing here, and this would be less sub-boom in the kick is included in this, it's just spending a little bit more time on the individual tracks, each individual EQ, because everything in your mix should have an EQ on it before anything else. That way, all of your plugins are responding to what you want them to respond to, because none of your plugins know anything about what you're making, period. End of story. They only know signal strength and whether a signal is coming in to it or not. And while it's there, if it has reached some sort of a threshold or not. And that's it. That's all it is ever aware of. Everything else is just reactions based upon your parameter changes. So making sure that you've EQ'd something before it goes into a plugin is your best way to make sure that you're actually working with what you think you are working with, or at least you are aware of what you are working with. You can probably shave off a fair bit of low-end presence in a fair number of sounds in this mix still. And they're not going to feel any less impactful or full for doing it. There's going to be a lot of other low frequencies in the mix to fill up that space. Because when all of your sound leaves your DAW, it's leaving it as one little wiggle in the air. It's one audio wave, right? So all of those frequencies from all of those other tracks are represented in that one audio wave. So just kind of shaving off what you can and just trusting in that all of those low frequencies are going to be there still because of all the other elements in your mix. This thing will feel a lot more tight and clear, I think. And that's going to translate as powerful, right? And focused. Chokododek, Choco Tudek, I'm not sure how to say this without butchering it, I'm sorry, saying, me and my producer, Arisan, are watching the stream for feedback. I'm the vocalist. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Excellent. WMB saying the ARP is a bass, though. Right. Well, but you want it to contrast with the bass drop. Okay, so here's the thing, is that if it's going to coexist with that bass drop, just cut out the frequencies that are most dominant in the bass drop. And then work some sort of crossfade there, because that EQ cut doesn't need to be in static position, right? Now you can start working on the automation, making that cutoff point move over time as the other sound is either coming in or leaving or whatever. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Try to picture these guys as real instrument players, like real musicians on a stage, and they're performing together. And what you would do with another person, right? When someone's stepping up to make themselves really present in the mix, you need to do what, right? You need to step back, right? So those little moments need to just kind of still happen in the DAW as well. Oh yeah, D-Troubler. I have heard this. I haven't used it myself, but I have heard this. WMB saying, I probably need more EQs in between plugins. Obviously, I start with dynamic EQ on everything. To be deep saying, also, any advice I give comes from an alien. So I could just call you Choco. Oh, good. Thank you. That makes it so much easier. Sorry for wrecking your name. Loved the music. Loved the singing. AWO. AWO. Sometimes it's the simple things. This is a work in progress. Let's listen. Okay, Awoken, this is great. I really do love the super cute synth. I love the little click on it. There were a couple of points where I was like, I kind of feel like I would like it to be a little bit less. And then there were times where I was like, this is just so perfect. So there's part of me that wants to just say, I would put a slow moving modulator on the attack of this thing and just mess with that click just ever so slightly. Like maybe it's only moving like a couple of milliseconds, but that couple of milliseconds happens over the course of, say, 4 bars or so, something like that. So there's just this nice organic kind of ebb and flow of this tiny little nuanced element in the track. So it just ends up feeling a little less triggered and a little more human, a little more played. It has some sauce, like all the way around. To be deep saying, pretty interesting sounds. Yeah, I agree. And I think that the palette is kind of where this one starts. And it's also where this one wins, I think. Things are unique enough and yet familiar enough that it can kind of tug on some heartstrings from the very first notes. So 115, I think the dialogue should come up. And I think it's a good 6 dB. Maybe even as much as 8, I'm not sure, but also a slight lift from a high shelf around 1K up. So it's going to go down into the kind of mids there. But if you grab from like 1K up, you're going to get that full kind of, PA announcer voice thing, right? Because you got to remember those old speaker systems are filtered. So, got to get down, play all the way to 1K to get that. This thing just feels great all the way around. I really don't want to say much more than this because I don't want you changing a bunch more, honestly. Pretty darn tasty stuff. To be deet. Hey, check out this art. Hey. All right, Preach It Real, featuring Tay. To be deep, saying 100% transparency, I am actually an AI programmer. I wrote my own beatmaker, sequencer, melody, and effects tools. I have no shame using all aspects of technology, audio me, but I assure you I design everything, and my songs are meant to just do something different. Oh, and I am an alien. Well, welcome in, Mr. Alien, and let's listen.
Snapback syntax, switchblade tongue, click that mix where the truth gets sung. Came from the crawl space, snatched from the cracks, no favors, just fire in the feedback track. Dialed into dissecting your doubt, digital drought, hit, I decode the drought, scripts get scrapped. When I step in the scene, I'm A turn cold. Line in between, cracks in your cortex. Scramble the scheme, baselines, thin through blood red machines. No peace packed, I pack punchlines and scars running from flags. Glitching, torching the charts. Low rung like Jan, climb through chaos. White knuckle, rhythm wired like science. I don't just pray, I rewire despair. If the map's a trap, I'm the glitch in the air. Built from backlash, wide and wrath. I bounce through bars, skip mask, skip past. Where I sing in reels, your truth gets capped. I speak like small, loud, fast and crack. Faster than freedom avoids. Game rigged, ladders greased. Goals and goals when the climb gets ceased. Think too loud, they make it a crime. Mind ain't quiet. It rides in time, coil and grind. Spun in loops. Wide wrong from the root to the boots. Gen X, millennials, please. We all caught in corrupted disease. Elite creeps with the same old tactics. Grinning while they cash out coffins. If I get the chance, I'll mix the bass. Stick it in their chest till they break their face. Looking for peace, that's a payment plan. I want presents and punch it in my hand. I want a land where bricks don't fall. I want truth that don't fit their walls. I want tear through the tree, be off the leash. Speak when it's split. Gen X, millennials, please. We all caught in the same disease. Pocket bricks and plastic castles, sucking up soul like oil through raffles. If I get the space, I'll mix the with spite, with spit. Watch them choke on every bit. Mix the bass.
All right. To be deep. This is pretty cool. 23 seconds in, some cool timbre and textures flying around already. 41 seconds in, I'd say get the vocal up a bit on top more. Use saturation to really focus on the surface texture of the vocal delivery. 113, the brrr tongue roll, get that up in real time through an automation curve that rises up. It's being delivered. And then drop the volume back down to normal right away. And then use that moment as kind of a learning moment. You can apply that same kind of effect, that little automation accent, in a few different spots, right? And it can be just about timing, and it can also just be about like the shape of whatever is being delivered in the moment by the vocal track at that time. 150, more transition support here, wanting some high quality cinematic transition effects just kind of throughout this thing, but at the points of transition mostly. Some risers, some whooshes. Some reversals for some more depth and impressive ear candy appeal. I'd also layer in some foley with the drums to bring more organic and raw driven profile, and then polish it with some distortion so they really hit. And not foley like, hey, go play around with some stuff in the kitchen drawer, but like some big stuff. Like you could get away with some like metal barrels, like some oil drums or dumpster hits or something like that when things get really intense. So think like metallic and big and chunky and kind of raw in your face, kind of industrial type stuff. And layer some of that in with your drums and hit it with some distortion. I think it would sound very cool. 337 vocal up. Let the new synth, or the vocal synth up rather. I'd let the new lead really lead, and the bass is still really dominant here, so maybe let this new element be the antagonist and kind of take on that lead position of that bass. Yeah, some tingy things, absolutely. Some junkyard metallic appeal, absolutely. Okay, Choco, awesome. I'll keep an eye out for those. It's amazing how many places require English to graduate. I wish people in here in America learned more foreign languages as like some sort of a requirement while growing up. I think it's great. I love it. I love like what it does to the human brain, learning different languages. I think that's why music has such a profound impact on people. It's like kind of the ultimate in that, I think. Yeah. All right, to BD, you are welcome for the feedback. Hope it resonates. AD was asking for some feedback specifically on the lyrics of this one, I believe. A 2000s end credit song. All right, let's listen, shall we?
I really wish that I would die, and I hate me because the blood stop pumping through my veins. I'm a machine, I'm fucked. That once was living with the shame, started living it up. I wasn't dealing with the pain, I was dealing with drugs. They took my bad parts all away. Now they just made it to where I couldn't see him at all. My self-awareness in the dream made me evil. I brought 100 dividends of pain teachings when I was told about myself, about his dead and lied about my health, yeah. I made him think I'm healthy, I'm not well. I should've died, I always doubt myself, yeah. I want you to take me out of this motherfucking life, yeah. We gon' have a day in hell, yeah. I want you to take me out of this motherfucking life, yeah. We gon' have a day in hell, yeah. I'm never gonna see the person I wanna be. Shit done's irredeemable, make me wanna scream. But my energy is too low for that it seems. Got no right to grieve, my conscience coming at me. Myself is hated to my mama, sorry baby. The time you wasted carrying that bastard Davis. You'd be more saddened if you knew who Ashton Davis really wasn't when I put my story on my wall. Painted red, yo, I've been bashing me to stand the fall. That's all my ass gets wasted for the balls that buzz my brain shit. Yeah, don't turn the shit anti-mitis to touch it, it might get ruined, no surprises, yeah. A forcing attempt to for something, but I just forget to survive into my shit, yeah. I want you to take me out of this motherfucking life, yeah. We gon' have a day in hell, yeah. I want you to take me out of this motherfucking life, yeah. We gon' have a day in hell, yeah.
Yo, AD, this is really interesting. All right. I think the lyrics are good right out the gate. I know you were asking about that. I think the vocals can come up in the mix like 3 to 4 dB, not a bunch, but just a little bit to help them sit right up on top a little bit more. And the vocal level felt a little bit better in the mix in the chorus, I felt. So maybe a little bit more attention outside the chorus. When you finish this one up, try not to use too much compression along the way. Use saturation as much as possible to get the loudness going and to get the polish and the shine going on this one. It'll really feed the character of the guitar band lineup, like the classic rock band kind of feel. And this is also a good one for multi-pass, right? Like you can take and send, like for instance, the guitars, if you were to send it through the same saturation a couple of times, but each time at a very gentle level instead of one time where you're getting all of it at once, you can be amazed at just what exactly can kind of pop out of some of these sounds. So something you can play with when you're going and you're mixing each one of these tracks and the whole thing together as a whole piece. Just kind of consider what saturation might be doing in regards to the impact on us, the listener, because remember, it's not turning things up, it's adding more information to your sound. So it's creating more of the sound in the sound, if that makes sense, rather than just making it louder. Really love the guitar tone on this. The other thing that I would say on this is I would love to hear a little bit more active volume mixing. Like as we're listening to it, we're hearing subtle changes and stuff in the volume levels. So here's what I would say is listen through this and hit record. And you're just going to write to the automation tracks while you're listening through it in real time. And give yourself a chance to listen through on the tracks that you think there's the greatest room for variability, right? So maybe it's the guitar, right? So you're just going to keep your hand on that fader, right? Or that knob, and you're just going to ride it up and down just a little bit. And so now this whole thing is going to feel just a little bit more like a live performance, right? Like there actually was like this moment where the guitarist really kind of leaned in and there was like a 6 dB change there for a moment, right? Because those things really translate as like feeling at the end of the day when you have this lineup of instruments. So Carter asking, yo, what's good? It's good. It's Friday. It's always good on Friday. Go ahead and drop your track in public feedback in the Discord. There is a link at the top of the chat. Drop it in public feedback and sit tight. Really, really enjoy the guitar tone on this 80. It's really good stuff. A visor moment. It's trademarked. All right, Visor here saying, I decided to make a sort of anthem type track. I really like the melody chorus I came up with for this track. I hope you like it as well. I first made the melody chords, then I uploaded it to an AI site and had it make vocals around my input audio, and I really love how it came out. Excellent. Let's do this. This is Ignition Protocol from Visor.
surge before we brawl. We rise higher, we burn brighter, we strike louder, we launch now.
Yo, this was a visor moment. That's awesome. Man, seriously. Super crispy right out the gates. I think the snare down just a wee bit. 30 seconds in, kind of want a little more punch in that transition. Maybe as subtle as an atmospheric sub boom layered in or something like that, so you don't have to go big on it. Before we drop, we rise. There were some really catchy lines in there. Unsurprisingly, with the AI help, but it's just so flippin' catchy. Really on point. 205, some double time hats or perks might feel good in this one section here. 233, I think there's an opportunity here to affect the entirety of the mix. Maybe a quick stutter or something would feel right. Man, this is really anthemic. The Ignition Protocol is a serious headliner track name. It feels like festival energy. It really does. Man. Major 4 and a minor song. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, just some serious energy, man. Serious energy. Yeah, just out of curiosity, what service did you use for the vocal element? Exophonic. Heyo, Choco, that's right. Don't let scales limit your ability. Absolutely. Word, I like that. Exophonic. It is you. Suno. I thought. It was quite clear. It was quite clear. Good quality. Exophonic says, oh, trust me, I never stick to one scale proper. All right, Exophonic here saying, I've been working on this project, taking a lot of inspiration from Snail House's Sound Traveler. It's really mostly the build-up and drop to see if it's possible. Mainly, I fear I've got too much at once. Is it followable? All right, so this one's called And the Tears Fell as Rain. Yeah, Exophonic, I love this. I think it's super cute. I love the little mallet in the intro. I love the lead. I think it's absolutely great. I think the pad can come down a touch. I think the strings can come down a touch. They're important, though, and I love where they are. But there's just a lot, like you're saying. Is it followable? And I think that that is impacted with the number of elements in the mix. So here's what I would do. I would move things that are on the sides a bit further out to the sides. The strings you could take entirely out of the middle, and the pad maybe as well. Try to make each one of these spots in the stereo spectrum just a little bit more unique to each sound. And I don't know what you're using DAW-wise to mix, but maybe you have the ability to get really specific in a mix. Like, for instance, I can change between balance and stereo pan in Logic, and what that does is it gives me the ability to actually focus on a very specific part of the stereo spectrum. So here, I'm just going to zoom in on this pan pot down here and show you that I've just like given it this kind of narrow bandwidth, if you will, of stereo range to operate within. And if you have the ability to do something like that in your DAW, then that might be better for you than the current approach of maybe panning it a little right or a little left and leaving it at that. Sometimes that's enough to help. Also, you can use a little mid-side EQing, like I was saying, to take the strings out of the mids and just leave them in the sides, and maybe push them a bit further out to the sides so they're really filling up the edges, and maybe even take just a little bit of the low end off the strings with a shelf, just so they feel just a little bit lighter on the sides. Very nuanced changes. I think you're probably going to dial this in without much guidance from anyone, honestly. It's just getting in there and turning the first knob, and the rest is downhill, honestly. Yeah, I think that's what I got for you on this one. ODR! Happy Friday. Choco saying, this sounds like something I would sing over. I would love to hear that. Narsa Chris saying, am I crazy, or is the flute lead thingy just very slightly out of tune or something, like by sense? It is, yeah. It's good to hear. You have balance, stereo, and binaural, Haas. Yeah, so maybe for this one, you can work in stereo, or it would feel better if you did that than collapsing them all the way down to mono, but I think this would give you kind of the best of both worlds. It gives you the nice openness, and, even though it has kind of a limited range in stereo width, like something like the pad or something like that, if you do narrow the stereo spread on them, or reach, I should say, or depth, it's still going to go into a reverb, and that's going to come out across the whole stereo spectrum. It's just going to be feeling like it's a little more positioned inside of that space, which will also help, I think. And then lastly, I don't think I put it here in the notes, is just EQ. Just make sure that you are EQing your reverb channels. It's entirely possible that you can save a little bit there too. Just scoop a little bit out of the mids, take out the lows, take out some of the highs. Exophonic saying, I was listening to the track that inspired me, and yeah, the strings are absolutely wider than where I've got them. Yeah, that's a great thing. Also, always good to check the reference material, right? Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Linux. It is you. Hypnotic techno. Linux saying, started yesterday, probably my closest to real hypnotic techno. All right, let's do this. Okay, so Linux, dude, closest real hypnotic techno yet. It felt right. It felt good. I like the little line buzz that you had in the beginning. I like that you brought it back a few minutes later. A lot of little touches in this one. Really nice. 31 seconds in, nice move with the transition. I think a little more support wanted on that transition, though. Maybe even just a little understated filter down whoosh. A little bit of verb on it. 108. In fact, that last transition that you had was really great. Okay, 108, wanting more separation between the pad and the bass. I'd narrow the reach of the bass a bit in the stereo field, and this will unmask the pad a bit, and then move the pad further from center, and that'll give it its own kind of specific spot. And then those two can kind of sit in their own static position and simmer. 158, just fantastic ambience. I would swell that louder. It definitely deserves to come up a good 6-8 dB. And then again, 210, that little blast of ambience there, just a nice little swell. 219, yay, that line buzz came back. Just general comment, remove or reduce whatever lows you can out of most of the elements in the mix. That'll keep your low-end elements really pure and clean and a really strong, kind of forceful throb to them. 253, nice organic, playful moment here. 338, room for some dialogue here. I think it can fill the space without affecting the arrangement. And then from there, you could chop, like just take a couple of words and you just kind of juggle them a bit, play with them for a little while, make it dark and playful, use some clever processing, use some understated modulation decisions to kind of push against expectations, right? So maybe there's a couple of stutters or repeats, maybe there's an actual dropouts or some pitch modulation or something. 521, nice move again. 533, these keys feel a little dry and simple compared to the rest of the mix. I'd alter them a little. It could be as easy as processing them with a little bit of pitch delay or something like that. It would just bring a little bit of movement and unexpected change over time. That's really all you need. You could also make it a little bit more wonky than that, right? Like you could actually glitch that stuff or something. Entirely up to you. But I do think they could use just a little bit more character in them. Hey, Prox, how are you doing? Feeling a little crusty, but waking up. Oh, hey, this is nice. Prox saying to Linux, hey, hit me up if you ever want tips to work on hypnotic techno sometime. Love connecting with other techno folks. Hey! That's a lovely match right there. You guys will get along quite well. Eddie, you are up. All right, let's get you in here. All right, so what do we have here? We've got Life V9 Master and Alt Mix, and then Burn. Are these separate songs, or is this just an alternate mix, or what's going on here? 2-song story. Okay, I'm going to play this first one, unless you really want me to play the second one. And then if we have time, we might come back and listen to a second one. All right. We'll go with this first one here. Life, V9. Okay, cool.
Cause I've been falling for you knee deep. Been losing my mind. But you don't wanna see me. You're playing for time. I'm bringing you everything you need in your life. Oh, I can decide if you might be everything I need in my life.
Hey.
It's me. I know we haven't spoken in a while and things have been weird. But I still think about you a lot. Do you think about me? Anyways, I just wanted to let you know that I miss you. I hope you're doing really good. Call me sometime, okay? Bye.
Okay, Eddie, this is great. I love the beat. I think the beat is super solid. We might have a chance to come back and listen to the second one here in a bit. I would get the clap layers slightly offset a little bit more for a chunkier clap delivery. 37 seconds, the chord stabs feel a bit softened and cottony, which is really nice in some spots. And other spots, I wish there was a little bit more of the sound disclosed and a little bit more of the transient left intact. So personally, I would play with the filter position on that just a little bit more and just kind of allow us to hear a little bit more of the full range of the sound. And that way we get a sense that this is all very intentional. And then that changes the perception of a sound like that to withheld, right? Rather than, oh, it sounds like part of that sound is missing, or, oh, that sounds a little off, or something. It all of a sudden becomes, oh, they've withheld that, right? It's a bit more of a clever decision at that point. 120 vocals up on top of the mix a bit more, probably a good 4 to 6 dB. Start at 4. Adjust to taste. Love the slowdown. It's a really great use of the voicemail message prompt to focus our attention. And it's really good, honestly. Bring that vocal or that volume up on it, though. I think it's a really good sample. And then if you can, I would extend that beep. That little voice message beep on the outro, I'd extend that just a little bit. Maybe it is being touched with a little bit of granular and it kind of slows down and breaks up just a little bit at the end and kind of fades. Or maybe it's just a short form delay with some feedback on it with a long decay release, right? So it kind of fades out more organically or something. But it'd be cool if it had just a little bit more of like a dreaminess to the way that it ends, just because of the kind of filtered down position that you've got it presented with already. Okay, that's what I got for you on this one. Brock saying, really good environmental space on the drums. Yeah, there's a new sample pack, Brock's. Go grab it. If you are currently subscribed to the Twitch stream, go grab your free sound pack of the month. I swapped them out this morning before the show. You guys are going to get Sacred this month. It's a collection of interesting little instruments and vocal shots that you can play with. A lot of good stuff. Choco's here saying, my producer is really good, so I hope you can't find anything. All right. Choco's saying, I'm the vocalist of the song. My producer is watching the stream with you. Oh, excellent. Wonderful. It's a really super cute picture, by the way.
Protect your
Dream
family's
fearlessly.
dreams
Yes.
under our
Buy
roof.
insurance.
American Family Insurance.
America.
At Olive Garden, we've spent years perfecting every cheesy twirl and saucy swirl.
Wow. Thanks for all your effort, Olive Garden. All right. Here we go. Okay. Choco, this was fantastic. I love the steel drums in the intro. I think the vocal performance is great all the way through. I think volume up just a little bit on it, and I'd use a little overdrive to boost the loudness personally instead of just turning the volume up. But I target 5K to help lift the kind of low mid presence a little bit. It feels ever so slightly thick. Not quite cottony like I was describing earlier in the stream, but just a little bit unnecessarily thick. And if we just kind of shift that just a little bit, I think it'll feel a little bit better. Rhythm guitar on the left down a little bit. It dropped down a bit on its own around 150, and it felt like it was in a better spot there. So I would zoom to that part of the track and take a listen, and just with a really critical ear, and see what kind of leveling you can do prior to that to get it to that same spot. Really nice video work too. I think this is great. 250. Vocal synth up here. I think this is a really good dreamy moment. Honestly, I think this is my kid's new favorite song. He just hasn't heard it yet. I'm going to play it for him after the show, though. Okay, I would run the instrumental mix. So just everything but the vocals. I would run the instrumental mix through a gentle saturation. I would target 10K, just the entire thing, just to add a subtle brilliance to it all. So it's probably only going to be like a 1.5 dB drive or something like that you're adding to this, and you might want to back down on the overall volume a dB or two to help kind of adjust for that change, because it will seem a little bit more present and loud overall. But it's the frequency lift. It's going to feel like you're tilting your whole mix just a little bit up towards the low, or down on the low end, up on the high end, just a little bit. It's going to make it feel like all of your instruments, like all the strings, have a little bit more luster to them. This is a really fantastic track. Really, really good. Really great stuff. Far Horizon says, nailed it. Word. Oh, hey, Dub is here. I'm about to close this queue, so if anyone has been sitting on the fence and you're unsure if you're going to drop something, do it right now, because it's about to be too late. Kyan, Alien Rave Dance Party. This one says, I'm like so over you now. Raveaholics.
You're tuned into Raveaholics. This is home of the underground.
We can do this all night. Damn, this love is getting tight. Baby, come on. Booming like the bass drum, sparking up a rhythm. Baby, come on.
You'll never see them again. Oh, that's my favorite. That's the winner right there, Kyan. That's awesome. All right, so this feels way more cleaner and focused, and I noticed right around that first big transition, honestly, like that's a pretty big telling point right there. So I feel like you had a little level up over there this weekend. Far Horizon saying, seems like the chords move like a little bit too much maybe on this one. I would say ARP up around 108 a little bit and moved a little bit to the left. The saw at 127 moved a bit to the right, away from center, maybe even down just a decibel or two. And also try not to distort the lowest frequencies below 60 hertz and see if that helps a little bit with clarity and overall punch on this guy. Before we dig into the next track, I'm going to go ahead and hit play here, just where we left off, and I'm going to go hit the bathroom really quick, and I'll be right back. Stick around. Yo, we are back. Turn this noise down. We'll jump right back in. All right. All right, we got another one from Choco here. First one was super cute. This one is Hypnosista.
これで終わり目を離せないあなたの負けでしょう瞬きすらすり抜けて変わっていく私光はマイウェル影すらもスパイスねしゃべけないよ諦めてメロメロにされちゃえばメロメロにしちゃいたいわあれもこれも全部ちょうだいわがままなの骨抜きにしちゃいたいのずっとそばにいられたのなら幸せでしょ
Hey, I love this one. I kept going back and forth in my head over whether or not the hats were at the right level. I couldn't decide. There were a couple of spots where they were poking out, and I was like, they feel like they're poking out a little bit here. And then in other spots, I'm like, I think they're actually quite perfect. So I couldn't quite decide on that one. So I'm just going to say that out loud. I really like your whirly keys. I like the reach that it has in the pan or in the stereo spectrum. The high-pitched squeal that happens here at the beginning, I'm just going to go back to it. It's pretty distracting. I think you should probably remove it. This one. You can hear it, right? Right there, like when I just jump to it and it's just really abrupt. It might just be from a bit crush or something, but I think it's going to rub a number of people the wrong way. So I think I'd just remove that entirely. I love the sparkling appeal of this one. I think the bass feels like it drops out of key or is misaligned in a spot just prior to 50 seconds. Nice string work. I would bring the pizzicato up just a little bit so it stands out a little bit more upright in the mix. I think everything's fine timbre-wise, mix-wise. I think it's just a simple volume increase and maybe as much as 5 or 6 dB on that. 150, the vocals up a bit in this section. 225, some of the bit crush distortion is translating as just noise on the far edges, the sides of the mix. So perhaps bring the pan position in just a little bit so it isn't hanging over the edge quite as much. And maybe bring the volume on that down just a little bit so it gets kind of tucked in the mix. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. I like this. Slick is saying, hey, maybe sidechain the bass a bit more and add some multiband compression. I could hear that. You know, it does poke out a little bit. Yeah, I'm such a big, protect the vocals kind of guy when it comes to this kind of thing. That the bass is predominantly just a support role character. It's not a main player for me at all. So I'm in line with that. It does seem like a story, right, ODR? Absolutely. I'm fascinated by the vocals as well. Truly. It was a game submission you were paid for. Yeah, that's why it's fully animated. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think you nailed it. Again, I think you've nailed it both times. Far Horizon. It is you. Let's see what you cooked up this week. Yeah. Far Horizon's work is always strong. Is Far here? I don't know. We will, Ayo, Far Hi, from afar. We'll put it in a thread if he isn't here. So, Ayo, there he is. There we go. All right. How you doing, homie? Happy Friday to you. Let's listen. Yeah. Yeah. Man. Far Horizon. I like this. There is a kind of like a driven kind of thickness in the middle of this vocal that I think can be attenuated a little bit. Maybe it's just a little scoop EQ wise, and maybe it's around like 450 or something like that. It's not too big, but I do think it would help the balance of the vocal with the bass. There's just this kind of slight amount of bloat to it. Also, is it wrong of me to want the biggest reverb in this mix to be on the bass, except for when the vocal comes in? There's a couple of spots where I felt like this was totally just going to wash out over the whole thing, and it was all going to like cascade from the vocal, and it never actually happened. So in my mind's ear, there's this moment in the mix where this reverb on the vocal just like there's this floodgate. But before that, where the bass is the big superstar of this track, I was really craving some really big splashes of this huge room, and the bass just kind of reverberating in it as it's modulating down. Also, before the vocals come in, when you get in that little double time, that's totally what I want Minecraft to sound like when I'm playing it late at night, and I get into a little surprise cavern. Did not expect the big vocal. I kind of want to give you a nickname that's somewhere in the realm of Timbre King. It's not Timbre King, but your stuff is always so well balanced and maligned. Is that fair? Okay, 256. Maybe this is where something like that could happen. But if this pad came down for just a sec, the whole vocal wash thing could happen. I don't know. I'm not trying to force it. I'm not going to take over. No, unthicken it a little bit. I think that's what it is for me on this vocal, is that there's a little something, and it might be around like 400 or so hertz. You know what? It's not. I've completely misled you. It might be in the reverb. I think it might be in the reverb where you want to make that reduction, not on the vocal. The vocal is not thick there. But I think that the reverb might be like full-bodied in that spot, and you can make a little dip in that reverb. Or maybe it's a responsive thing that happens where it ducks down a little bit based upon amplitude in the performance. That might be the key right there. Anyway, it's a subtle thing. Oh, man. Proc says tons of pitch percussion samples in the new Ohm Lab packs. Oh, you're good. Too good to me. Oh, the Sacred Pack. Yeah, if you are currently subbed to the Twitch stream, go over to the Discord, grab your free sound pack. I swapped it out this morning before the stream started. Some good stuff. Was it your vocal or the girl? It's right here. Hers. Yeah, it's the one saying dreams. That track, I think, is the main one. Excellent. Hope it vibes with you, homie. Oh, I need to close the queue, you guys. We're absolutely going to listen to all these things in here, of course, but I need to close the queue. All right. Let's scroll back up here. All right, we got one more from Choco here. I'm fascinated. Okay, Choco's saying, my producer wanted feedback on his other song. This does not feature me as the vocalist, but my producer asked nicely. We're in a music circle, so we have connections. All right. So this is Oregon Rion. Okay, Choco, just to pass along to your producer, it's really fantastic. All of the work is really fantastic. The guitar tones and the synth timbres, all of the sonic palettes that have been created to produce all of these different, really dense arrangements. They're all very well selected sounds. They all work incredibly well together. So big ups on that. Kudos for that. The instrumental on this one is super nice. I think just in general, you have a real skill for creating things that are incredibly sonically dense, but very entertaining. And it's all very highly thematic, and you understand, you've probably ingested a ton of media as you've learned all of this, but it seems like you have your finger on the pulse, so to speak. You understand what each one of the different instruments or elements is doing sonically in the mix and what kind of effect it's having on the listener, and honestly, like what can be used for accenting, versus leading. And I think it's all very well done. It's all very well done. There's a lot of attention to detail, and it's happening at such a rapid pace that I feel you probably feel like so much of the effort and detail goes unnoticed or underappreciated in a lot of ways. But I feel like I was able to catch a lot of it. It's a lot of really good stuff. You're making really, really good stuff. And I think that this is actually a really solid broadcast mix. I think that a lot of people, if they were to listen to the instrumental on its own without the vocals, they would feel that it might be a little flat or a little withheld in some way. But once you take into account that these vocals just shine on top of it throughout the entire thing without ever finding any kind of competition, it just kind of shows you it's really ready for broadcast. So it's good. Really good stuff. Really solid tones and timbres throughout. Really great stuff. Far Horizon, you can feel free to shoot me a DM if you want to keep it just between us. If you want to share with everyone, you can drop it in one of the channels, like Found Sounds or Poster Links, or yeah. Happy to just play with them, though. Carter, it is you. Is that Carter Breath of the Wild? Is that what that is? Hey, nice, yeah. Ha, I thought it was Breath of the Wild. All right, so we're going to listen to you next, Carter. And yeah, Far, absolutely. This one's called Player.
He's got a new girl like every other week. How has he gone from my best friend to my enemy? He treats him like their game on his Xbox that he plays for a month and then stops. Someone needs to teach him a lesson about having basic respect. Someone's gotta show him what it feels like to be left. So now he says that he's a player, but he's getting played, cause every girl he talks to turns the other way. If he had $1 for every girl that left, he'd have $11, not enough to pay his debt. So leave him crying on the floor, let him taste his own damn medicine, make him wish that he had never tried to just be friends. This is what he gets for treating her like this. This is what he gets. Don't ever call her again. Is it just an overreaction? Maybe so, but this is what needs to happen. Cause after someone cheats, you don't just move on. You spend hours praying on his downfall. Someone needs to give him a lecture over being a good man. Someone give him a lecture. Someone needs to explain to him that girls don't just want sex. So now he says that he's a player, but he's getting played, cause every girl he talks to turns the other way. If he had $1 for every girl that left, he'd have $27, not enough to pay his debt. So leave him stranded on the shore, make him wish that he was yours again. Show him what it's like to be a victim of his plans. This is what he gets for treating her like this. This is what he gets. Don't ever call her again. That he's he's a player, but he's getting played. Cause every girl he talks to turns the other way. If he had $1 for every girl that left, he'd have $100, not enough to pay his debt. So leave him wishing he was dead. Make him regret ever cheating. Show him what it takes to break someone's soul into pieces. This is what he gets. Treating her like this. This is what he gets. Don't ever call her again. Don't ever call again.
All right. Carter, this is really nice. I like the classic retro kind of vibes running through this. It's not trying hard to be anything specific, and it's got like this, I mean, anything that it's not is what I meant to say. And it's got this kind of like easy breezy kind of top down driving in the car in the summer with your friends kind of feel to it. Feels like there's a story behind all of this. I think there's a little bit of just volume mix adjustment to be made in general. I think the bass can come down, start with a good 6 to 8 dB, and make sure that that bass is a supportive character. Like it is there to add some roundness to the low end, give us a little bit of gravity. It's almost felt more than it is heard. In fact, when we're changing, when it's stepping down a couple of notes, like that's when we're going to notice it the most in the mix, because like that change in note is calling our attention to it. You know what I mean? Really great lyrics. So that's why I want the bass down. I just want the lyrics just to drive everything. I think the vocals are pretty good. And I think they're also a bit dry for the genre. So your use of the larger reverb, though, shows there is a vision playing out here. So I don't want to like tell you how to do all of it. I do think, though, that the main volume section can use a little bit more verb and perhaps some subtle splashes of delay that also feed back into that same reverb channel. In general, I think that if you treat the vocals with overdrive and target around 5K, add 1 to 3 dB drive, you'll find that it lifts them perfectly. It'll put them right up on top of the mix. It's also just going to help with where they are in the register. They're not quite low. They're a little ambiguous at spots. So I think generating a little bit more harmonic content in them will just help them sit proper right up on top of everything. And I think that that reduction in the bass is going to help with the little bit of masking that's happening there. 237, like that whole section around 230 just feels really nice. It feels easy, if that makes sense. Hey, Bako, how you doing? It's been a minute. Bako's here saying the vocals are a bit low, or there's masking from the bass. I double check your low end. It may need to cut somewhere between 100 300. If it's not that, it just needs a bit of a boost, or hit the main vocal in the mix with a boost around 2K, around 700. I'd agree with the overdrive. Saturation would be good. Carter's asking sub bass and the stab bass, or just one of them? And I'd say both, yeah. Yep, absolutely. This should not be tough to do on BandLab. You really shouldn't have a hard time with this, I don't think. Because this is just a reduction of decibels on the bass. So volume down there. And then for the vocals, it's just putting like an overdrive distortion on there. And not driving it to the point where things sound distorted. Just a tiny little gentle kiss, enough to make it feel a little bit more full and a little bit more bold in the mix. And Bako's saying you can do this all with EQ as well. Yeah, the only advantage that the saturation will give you over just EQ is the addition of the harmonics being generated off of the existing audio there. All in all, this is a really nice track. It's good stuff. This is the first one we've ever heard from you, right, Carter? It's good. Yeah. Bring more by. ODR. It is you. This one is called Feel. Idea down, but clipping. Work in progress. Got it. You are new. I thought so. Well, welcome to the mix, Carter. It's good to have you here. Okay, ODR, there's a lot of really great just ear candy, just all these little incidental sounds flying around. You've got a really nice palette of sounds cooking here. Cats and boots and cats and boots. Also, just really good stuff brewing in general in regards to timbres and just unexpectedness in general. Great use of the vocal stretch that slow down. 155. I think these simple little bass stabs are awesome that are isolated in that bigger reverb. I think you can make them a little more tricky just every once in a while, not constantly. But here and there, if there were, like if there was one that was glitched and one that was just ever so slightly rapidly stuttered and one that was kind of distorted in a weird way or something. And they're just kind of sprinkled in there. So you get a whole bunch of these kind of normal ones, and then you get this one that kind of stands out. Are these the right hats, or is there perhaps a missing hat in the mix? I feel like the kind of chunky one and the really light one, they're working pretty well together, but it feels like maybe there's just like another one that could be in there. It would make it feel a little more, I don't know. Dynamic, maybe? If there was like a third hat voice in there, I think. Just putting that out there. ODR says, layered hats. One's a bit brighter, as the other drum bus is too muddy, but keeps the underground feel with the crunched snare. Yeah, no, I really liked the underground appeal there. Yeah. Oh, man, and then we've got a track from Prox right after this, which is, I feel like that's a good mix right there. ODR, this is good. I like this. Hope the feedback vibes with you, homie. Going to Untitled. New one from Proxima. You are welcome so much, ODR. How are things across the river, Prox? You good? Let's do this. Bongo mode. Yeah. Okay, so the sample, like you cutting that syllable short is so good. That sk, 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 sk. Ah! That's so good, Prox. It's so artistic. It's so clever and creative, and it fits the track so well. Okay, this is fire. Just to get that out of the way. Long form saturation modulation. I'm like typing this thing out. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a really good advice because this would sound so great in this track. And as it's happening, I'm like, it's actually happening as I'm typing this right now in this track. Yeah. Got like some sort of mind sync happening here. Man, the hats that are ping-ponging on the sides, they're so satisfying. They're just fabulous. Scoop, 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 scoop. I would bring the laughing sample up at 429, especially since you reprise that again and again. And perhaps even just like the last little smidge of it gets shot into a delay just so you have like a tiny little tail or something. I really like it. I really think it's clever how you brought it back and used it. It's really super satisfying. I really like this track. Rabagast is saying, hey, how long are you streaming for? I am streaming for a few more. Just a few more. We appreciate you, Prox. Oh, Far Horizon saying he has some samples up. Where are those? Where are those, Far Horizon? Terahertz Beats, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. And everyone else for that matter. Where did you put those? In Public Sounds. Okay, Public Sounds, Public Sound. Public Sound Design? Public Lounge? Public Sound Design. We'll go over there. Just really quick. We'll come right back. Okay, so Far Horizon has been playing some modal noise sculpting. These are all from one instance of the same patch in Pigments. Just turning knobs. Let's listen to these really quick. Yeah, that's tasty. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, the randomness is great. Ooh. That's almost an audio logo. Yeah. Eat your Foley, kids. It's a great source of fiber. These are great, Far Horizon. These are fantastic. Yeah, they do have a modular feel to them, don't they? Yeah. All right, we are here. All right, so this next one is from Scope, and it's called Why'd You Lie? Yeah, I bet. I do enjoy Pigments. I still have a hard time with the workflow, but I do love the sonic output. Scope, this is pretty good. I think it's a good starting point, honestly. I think that what you need to do now is to try to combat the looping effect. You've got the same kind of thing on lock, and it's just repeating, and that's going to get really boring for some people after a little while. I have no idea what is coming next for this thing. If you're leaving room for vocals over the top or anything like that. But just subtle little changes like resequencing, retriggering, reversing a note here and there, quick little stutters or dropouts. Those types of things are really easy to do just in your DAW without having to involve a bunch of tools or anything. Those are things you could just do with like slicing stuff up and moving it around, which I would really recommend. Also, some kind of top line element to kind of walk across the top of this instrumental would also be good. It kind of take our focus off of the loops and put it more on something that is starting in one place and ending in a completely different place, like an A to Z character. And it could be a little synth that is meandering, or it could be some sort of guitar line that you've decided to chop up over time and like fully disclose over the course of a couple of minutes. So you have, chopped it up a good 30 times, and you have repeated little bits and you've reversed little bits or whatever. But over the course of those couple of minutes, we've gone through this kind of contiguous little journey with you, right? So I think either one of those is going to be the next step in this. And then after that is audio quality. And I think that it's a matter of going through each individual sound in your mix and making sure that each one is kind of the best that it can be. And then trying to find a way to impart a bit more dimension, right? And right now, you've got a little bit with some reverb and a little bit with some delay, but I would challenge you to go a little bit further, maybe bring in some kind of an atmospheric sample if there's maybe going to be a touch of dialogue or something to kind of give a little bit of an edge or a theme to this beat. That might help you figure out what kind of ear candy you want to put in here, right? What kind of transition effects or little sonic embellishments that don't necessarily impact the arrangement, but they keep us as the listener really entertained and excited for the next thing that might pop up that we're not expecting. Does that all make sense? Yo, Jack Sack, how you doing? Happy Friday. Hope you're doing all right. Tuning in from Copenhagen. We are in Portland here. Dub, you are up next. This is Carrie Yu and Jaylene, Another Life. Jaylene, sorry, Another Life.
You don't cry, you're not strong enough to care. Getting lost in my own pain, not in the game. One more dance to see me. I've been hoping we could try not to lie alone tonight. I will never have the life you stole. Now I'm keeping everything in my soul. If you call me in the night, I will ask you every time. Can you breathe for me? In another life, I'm feeling colder than you like. But tonight, I feel it's time to override the tempo. I gotta pick you up, rewind. Your wicked words that crush my mind. You put me on the line. I'm burning, run away, that's all you do. And I've got enough of you. The silence spell to get me through, bring harmony for you. Together where this pain has got to go, I've got to grow. Can you pray for me? At the 11th hour, people fail to pass the test. Holding out for a last chance, the heart to relapse. One more light to take me, and I hope that you won't try. 'cause I don't wanna know if I get out. If you call me in the night, I already said goodbye. You won't breathe with me. In another life, I'm feeling cold under your light. But tonight, I feel it's time to override the tale. I gotta pick you up, rewind. Your wicked word that crushed my mind. You put me on the line. I'm burning, run away, that's all you do. And I've done enough of you. The silence spell to get me through, bring harmony for you. Together where this pain has got to go, I've got to grow. Can you breathe for me?
Yo, Dub, this is great. I like where this is right now. The only thing I'm kind of bumping up against in this one is the levels on the basses. At 37 seconds, I feel like the bass can be down a few. Love the punch of the bass at 59, though. That said, I'd roll up the low-end cutoff on it to around 40 hertz, 12 dB per octave curve. Also, the sub-channel can come down 8 dB, I think. It's pretty loud. Also, it feels like there might be a boost on the kick below 100. If so, I'd move that up personally. I think the sub-plosive impact is a bit much. Is a bit much for the mix. I would reserve subspace in this track for the most impactful moves. That way, it really, really hits each time it's used. The more you use it or the more sustained, the less impactful it is, right? So that's the only reason I say that. I think that's it. I really like everything else in this right now. I think it's just this low-end management, and that's it. And if you don't have like a really great way to monitor the sub levels and you're getting right down to the finish line, it's like the last thing you have to dial in, make sure you're looking at meters at the same time you're working so you can kind of visually correlate what's happening. Guarantee you it will help in future productions. You'll be able to look at something and know probably what it sounded like, which is pretty helpful. Ben Zert. Let's do it. This one's called Freebase 2015.
De som fight brukte trusa som fallskjær. Gi meg en fight shot, jeger jeg ble helt skjær. Ey, gutta ta fyr på. Mer tids, mer her. Damer de på badet over masker om et nach. Men jeg har ikke tid til det, så jeg fyller her på plass. Hun ville først ikke, men jeg sa jeg var på freebase. Ble helt kjekta som at ikke lukta bil, hei. Finnes ikke kaffe bussen med to. Neste bord blå, mer shit enn Marius Borg. Og han stikker mor. Vet at det var det, men jeg lot dem bare kjøre på. Løper inn på den, og jeg føler meg så jævlig grå. Etter jakka på russedressen min, jeg klør det din trodisen. Har fått stoppa det, jeg fortsatt plass til flere. Er det tikk, baby, da vil jeg slutte å rotere. Slenger du med leppa, får du smake på en neve er nå. Danser inn i bussen selv om pilsen og veggen mellom. Freebase er i lufta, bitch. Få seg deg liste på noe megatits. Danser inn i bussen selv om pilsen og veggen mellom. Ingen gjør det sånn som vi gjør. Ute på en funky beat du ikke har hørt før.
og du vet det. Masse digge bitches inni kissen, de er hete. Full freset er ned av et sete. Husker ikke shit, var det Frida eller Grete? For vi ruller ut sent, det blir natta. Kaller meg pappa, lemper og trusa og viser meg katta. Chicks er våte for pilsen blir kasta. Burry ringer, lille bitch, det er fakta. Cash er og dollar kontanter etter alt. Kan man masse musa, for jeg kaster cash i betalt. Der er på blod, ser det ubi black overalt. Back igjen av freebase, alle vet hvem som vant. Stiller ut, det blir som å gutta rett på BLM. Sender deg på du hvis du vil være mer ekskule venn. 6K1, hele nabolaget hører det. Flank ikke trynet så du ikke husker veien hjem. Etter jakka på, russet dressen min, jeg kler det. Du tror dissen er for stappa, det er fortsatt plass til flere. Er du digg chick, baby, da vil jeg se deg rotere. Slenger du med leppa, får du smake på en neve her nå. Danser inn i bussen selv om pilsen og veggen mellom. Freebase er i lufta, bitch. Få se deg riste på noe megatits. Danser inn i bussen selv om pilsen og veggen mellom. Ingen gjør det sånn som vi gjør. Spytter på en funky beat du ikke har hørt før.
Dude, Benzer, this is fantastic. I think you've got a really, really good song. I think you've got a really good mix, too. Really nice use of volume in the sub-channel over time to really contour the fullness of the track. All of it is really, really nice. The only thing that's bumping me on this is the dynamics. It feels like the elements are a little bit too close together because the dynamic range has been reduced through limiting. And I think that if you were to go a little bit more old school and a little less electronic in your approach to the mix here, in finishing the mix, I think it's ace. Because this should have more of like a disco kind of a mix to it, I think, right? Which is a little bit more vibrant. It's a little more reliant upon traditional, like loudness means like saturation versus limiting. That's what I would do personally, because it feels like the bass is really loud and in your face, and the horns are too, but when the vocals are at their peak, they're like in direct competition with these guys instead of feeling backed by these guys. And that's the difference, right? It's kind of a subtle, nuanced thing. But if you were to have the chance to hear this the way that maybe Quincy Jones would have mixed it versus the way an electronic music engineer would mix it, this kind of falls more into the electronic music spectrum, I think, where everything is kind of flattened and compressed and pushed out the speakers by force, versus the disco, like there's just a lot of distance traveled between the low point and the peak of every single sound, let alone the overall mix. And when you have the ability to travel that distance, things like horn blares are really, really felt. It's not just like this punch or this stab. It's this real, there's this change in volume that gets you that stab. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only knock that I have on this right now. It's just the dynamics. It's just a subtle kind of nuanced thing, but I'd love to hear it in here because this is a really vibrant track. It's got a lot of good energy. Yeah, this is great. Baco's saying very Daft Punk, nice mix, nice vocoder. This is gas. Jack said, well, just send us playing live one of our tracks and also the studio version, and you can pick which you'd rather hear. I do look quite a lot cooler in the live one, though. But mix is better in the studio. Of course, yeah. Bako says, it's a constant level. There's no break. A break somewhere would really make the drops punch. Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, this is very good. Very good. Yeah, a little disco sting. I feel that. Bako. Oh, and you guys, we've closed the. Sorry, I didn't catch this earlier, but we've closed our queue, so we will get through these. But I'm going to close this here. All right. Bako saying, mostly looking for mixing feedback. I use AI in my pipeline, so while the music is seeded from my own production, it's not entirely mine. I did write the lyrics, though. Let's check it out. This one's called No Cure. Oh, Jack Sack, it's all right. It's all right. We've gone over by quite a bit. That's all.
You only have to walk into a room. Oh, the way you make me feel so surreal. You just got that groove. Something in the way you move. Oh, I can't fight it. I can't stop it. Oh, don't you know? Ain't no cure for loving you. I can't shake you. I've got to have you. Don't you know? I can't stop loving you. It can't be helped. I just got to. Don't you know? I won't stop needing you. I can't help it. I just have to. Don't you know? Ain't no cure for loving you. You're an ache I can't soothe, an obsession you don't choose. I know that I won't improve. I got nothing left to lose. Oh, I can't fight it. I can't stop it. Oh, don't you know? Ain't no cure for loving you. I can't shake you. I've got to have you. Don't you know? I can't stop loving you. It can't be helped. I just got to. Don't you know? I won't stop needing you. I can't help it. I just have to. Don't you know? Ain't no cure for loving you. I tried silence. I tried space, but you still haunt me all over the place. Every rhythm, every groove always leads me back to you. Ain't no cure for loving you. I can't shake you. I've got to have you. Don't you know? I can't stop loving you. It can't be helped. I just got to. Don't you know? I won't stop needing you. I can't help it. I just have to. Don't you know? Ain't no cure for loving you. No, no cure for loving you. I can't be cured of loving you. Ain't no cure for loving you. Ain't no cure for loving you.
Wow. Such a powerful vocal track, dude. Just out of curiosity, what engine are you using for that? Is that Suno? Really powerful lyrics. Just hitting all the right spots. Also, the track itself, like I felt like some of your other stuff that you've brought in felt a little bit more creative than this. This felt a little bit more kind of streamlined, mainstream, streamlined, if you will. But honestly, like it's all about the vocals in this. They far outshine everything that's happening instrumentally, right? And I like that you have, dialed in a really nice delay with it. It's got a really, really well aligned reverb. Yeah, some of these elements are sounding incredibly, incredibly tight. Custom model. Ooh, Control 4 official here. How you doing, homie? Happy Friday to you. Control 4 saying, Chris, I just got Nexus 5 working along with Falcon and Contact Libraries. Is nuts. Ooh. It was very mainstream. Been trying to work with popular sounds. Yeah, you've done quite well with it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. And I like that you're still training your own model. It's very good. Thank you, Control 4. Hope you're doing well, brother. Evo Loop Song, we were actually just closing, shutting things down here. We have just a couple last tracks. We've gone over by nearly an hour and a half here, so we're kind of fizzling. We've got just a few more. We've got one from Terahertz. This one is called WWIMF. Let's listen. Yeah, Baco, that's it. I don't really have, I don't hear anything that's needing to be corrected or anything. I'm just kind of more curious about your process at this point and how things are going, how things are evolving over there for you. Let's listen to this one from Terahertz.
I used to float. I used to know what I was made
Hey, man, I wanted more. I wasn't done. Terahertz, you just took away my toy. This is great. I really love your creative take. I think that yeah, I want to hear more. It was very playful. It was very free sounding. Yeah, I did not want that to cut off like that. I was really vibing with that. It was really good. I don't know that I really have a bunch of feedback for you on this one, honestly. Yeah, and I mean, I think your mix is pretty darn good too. Yeah, it just kind of. I'm a bit flummoxed because it happened right in the middle of a moment. You know what I'm saying? Finish that song! Stop getting reviews. Go to your computer immediately and finish it. I would agree with that. Baco's saying, here's my process. I generate like thousands of generations, pick out the parts that you like, want, and then stitch it together into the structure and sound you want, then laminate it with the model, making it do a close replicant to leave room to fill the holes, gaps from the chop, then break that into stems and mix and master it. It's actually pretty involved for being a shortcut. Yeah, absolutely it is. Yes, it is. Jack Sack. It is you. Jack Sack here saying, here's me and my lads Danish punk band, and it's me on the drums. Yes, drums. So here, posting us playing live at a venue and also the studio version, so you can take a pick. Ooh, nice. We're going to listen to this live one, I think. Live from Copenhagen. Oh, hey, we're going full screen. Yeah. Yeah. This was nice. Okay, so that's the taste of the live. I'm going to play just a little bit of the studio to see how it translates.
Life's better when your stuff is protected under our roof.
Let's buy some insurance.
Ready-to-eat meal delivery services are not created equal. At Factor, it's personal. Everything is done from scratch.
Okay. I actually like this basement recording. I think the basement sounds good. I do want the vocals to be up a few more dB up on top. But the rest of this, I'm really liking this raw take. Yeah, it'd be great to get the guitars just a little bit more dry in there and the vocals just up on top a little bit. But this is really good. Like, this is pretty good for recording in a basement, you know? This is good stuff. I'm going to hit play on this again, and I'm going to find someone to go raid while we outro here. Welcome in, Sound Bites. Ooh. Hell yeah, Jack Sack. Yeah, what a way to go out. Jack Sack, I love the studio version. I think it's great. I would totally attend a show. Soundbites TV, welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? We ourselves are also on our way out. We've run over by like a good hour and a half. So we are about to go do a quick raid. We're going to raid into our friend's channel, Evans the Bard. If you're not familiar with them, they do incredible work. It's about as opposite as you can get from that last song that we were just hearing, being completely punk. This one is probably going to be a bit more fantastical. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the start raid button here and say a couple of parting words. If you are currently subscribed to the Twitch channel, don't forget to go grab your free sounds from the Discord in the subscriber rewards channel. As always, I appreciate you guys. Come back again next week. We'll do it again. Stay inspired and make something awesome. I'll see you guys on the flip. Peace out.